upgraded in any way. Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
Imagine this. Your team just pulled off its first playoff win in years. The crowd is roaring, teammates are celebrating, and the energy in the building is pure joy. But instead of the headlines being about Aaliyah Boston's dominance, Lexi Hull's game-changing steal, or Kelsey Mitchell's clutch performance, the story takes a bizarre, almost embarrassing turn. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham, not even in uniform, sitting out in a bulky knee brace, suddenly became the center of controversy. A WNBA security guard decided she was the problem, confronting her in front of everyone. No running on the court, no instigating a fight, nothing. Just Sophie limping, standing near her team, and somehow being treated like a threat. And the second cameras caught it, fans went wild. Tonight, we're breaking down what happened, why Sophie is once again in the middle of drama she didn't create, and what it really says about the league.
Sophie, you're like that? Yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. And then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over here.
Here's what actually went down. The Fever had just sealed a dramatic playoff victory. The crowd in Indiana was at a fever pitch, and players, even those sidelined, were soaking in the moment. Sophie Cunningham, injured but present, wasn't storming the court or interfering in any way. She was simply near midcourt, supporting her teammates. Then, out of nowhere, league security approached her aggressively, gesturing and barking orders as if she had broken some major rule. And that's where fans immediately asked, was this just one overzealous guard flexing authority, or was it something deeper? Was Sophie singled out deliberately because of her reputation? Because the timing was surreal. Instead of celebrating a massive postseason win, fans were suddenly distracted by the sight of Sophie, in a brace, being treated like an intruder. It was the exact opposite of what the moment should have been.
Why in the F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham? And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down.
The cameras caught every second. Sophie's face told the whole story. At first confused, then visibly annoyed, and finally flashing that signature Sophie glare fans have seen for years. That look, part defiance, part disbelief, was instantly iconic. Within minutes, the clip hit Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Fans weren't talking about Lexi Hull's steal or Boston's rebounds anymore. They were furious about Sophie's treatment. Memes popped up, hashtags started trending. Hashtag Free Sophie. Hashtag WNBA Exposed. And here's the thing, it wasn't just Fever fans. Neutral fans, even casual WNBA watchers who tuned in for the playoffs, were stunned by how unnecessary it looked. The optics were brutal. A clearly injured player being policed like she was storming the floor? That's not security, that's harassment. And the internet was not going to let it slide. This isn't new for Sophie Cunningham. She's built a reputation in the league as fiery, outspoken, and unapologetic. And for that reason, she's been labeled the villain. Rival fans boo her. Media often frames her as trouble. And now, apparently, even league staff treat her differently. Fans immediately noticed the double standard. If this had been Angel Reese, Paige Buchers, or even Caitlin Clark standing at midcourt in a brace, would it have played out the same way? Doubtful. For them, it would have been spun as leadership, passion, or dedication to their team. But with Sophie, it became a confrontation. That's why fans flooded comment sections pointing out the hypocrisy. Some even said straight up, Sophie doesn't fit the league's image, so she gets treated like a problem. And that's what makes this moment more than just a misunderstanding. It exposed how Sophie has been unfairly boxed into a role the league seems comfortable keeping her in.
Folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. It's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as they're getting off their court.
Here's the kicker. Sophie didn't escalate. She didn't push, didn't scream, didn't make a scene. She just stood her ground. Her glare said it all. Really? This is what you're doing right now. And that restraint, that refusal to take the bait, is exactly what made the clip so powerful. The drama didn't come from Sophie. It came from the league. That's why the moment resonated so strongly online. Fans weren't saying, "Look at Sophie causing trouble." They were saying, "Why is the WNBA picking on her again?" And when the league tries to make her the villain, but fans see her staying calm and composed, it flips the narrative completely. Sophie became the hero, the underdog standing up against unfair treatment.
Check this out right here. Yeah, you see this guy right here? Right in this gentile area? You see this guy? The ref asked this dude to step out here. All right? Now, Cheryl Swoops wants this referee fired. She wants him fired. Look, he felt something. He felt something was amiss. Of course, Cheryl Swoops is defending Dejanay.
And this isn't just about one guard stepping out of line. It fits into a bigger, uglier problem. Look at Caitlin Clark. Since her rookie year, she's been shoved, taunted, hacked to the ground, and officials let play continue. The league shrugs it off. Sophie, meanwhile, has been painted as too fiery, too outspoken, too much of a disruptor. Instead of embracing players like Clark and Sophie, the league often leaves them exposed. The irony? These are the players who drive the most engagement. They're the ones trending, they're the ones selling tickets, they're the ones pulling in casual fans. But instead of celebrating them, the WNBA often seems more comfortable minimizing them. And this incident with Sophie Cunningham was the latest example.
Hate Sophie Cunningham because she's white, she's beautiful, all these things, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as they say. Sophie Cunningham is the most beautiful woman in this league. All right, she's the hottest woman in this league, and they're mad they can't be her.
The backlash was immediate. Fans torched the league in comment sections, calling it embarrassing, calling it unfair, calling it petty. They pointed out the double standard, how other stars get protected and defended, while Sophie gets silence. Remember when Angel Reese was booed by crowds? The league rushed to frame it as unfair treatment. When Dejanay Carrington was criticized by refs, the Players Association rallied around her. But when Sophie gets singled out, crickets. That selective enforcement and selective outrage is exactly why fans are fed up. They see the favoritism. They see the double standard. And every time it happens, the league's credibility takes another blow.
I completely underestimated the feelings that I would have watching all of the Indiana Fever haters crash out. All of the Caitlin Clark haters, all of the Sophie Cunningham haters, anything to do with the Indiana Fever, the people that are just so quick to hop on Twitter and say something negative, to hop on media and say something negative, to take credit away. I underestimated how good it feels watching these people crumble.
As fans kept sharing the clip, the story snowballed into something bigger. People started connecting Sophie's moment to the larger narrative. The WNBA has a serious image problem. They talk about growth, respect, and mainstream recognition, but the moments that keep going viral are the controversies. Fans don't remember the Fever's strategy or Boston's rebounds. They remember Sophie versus security. That tells you everything about the league's priorities. Instead of celebrating a playoff breakthrough, they ended up with yet another PR disaster.
Sophie, she got the contraption on. She looks great in a ball cap. Let's just keep it real. We're keeping it 100 here, as the kids say. And here we go. Right here, she's at mid-court. And then Paula Blart, mall cop, what are you doing? Well, I mean, what you doing? She got a leg brace on, for crying out loud. You come out here trying to be Brody and trying to do something, knowing damn good and well, look at this police officer sauntering up.
And here's where the league just doesn't get it. Sophie Cunningham's defiance, her willingness to be unapologetically herself, is exactly why she's so popular. Fans don't love her because she's polished or because the league pushes her. They love her because she's real, unfiltered, and authentic. She trends on Twitter constantly. Her clips rack up views on TikTok and YouTube. She's a draw, whether the league wants her to be or not. But instead of embracing her as one of their marketable stars, the WNBA seems determined to keep her on the margins. And fans are sick of it.
Those games, it was such a good W game. Like it was physical. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of great plays. But I just knew deep down in my gut that we were going to win. Like somehow we were going to win. And like, I think there was like a minute or like 40, I don't even know, like around 40 seconds left. And they left our all-star player wide open under the hoop for the go-ahead layup. And then Lexi Hull had a freaking badass steal. And like, it was...
This isn't just hardcore Fever fans noticing. Casual viewers, many of them drawn in by Caitlin Clark's star power, saw the clip too. And instead of walking away impressed by a playoff win, they walked away laughing at the league. The conversation wasn't about basketball. It was about Sophie versus a mall cop. And when your new fans see that kind of nonsense, they don't get inspired to watch more. They start to think the WNBA is unserious. And that's dangerous, because perception is everything when you're fighting for mainstream relevance.
The Engelbert, we need an investigation. Call the FBI. Call the local police department. We need an investigation as to who was raining down those boos on the Indiana Fever. They're all racist. Or, hear me out here, or this is sports and that's expected. Notice how the Indiana Fever players, oh, they didn't cry. Oh my God. Notice how they didn't do that.
Through all of it, Sophie handled herself better than anyone else could have. No blow-up, no meltdown, no fuel to the fire, just calm defiance. She let her body language do the talking, that glare that said, "You won't intimidate me." Fans noticed. They flooded her socials with love and support. Sophie became the people's hero of the night. Once again, the league tried to diminish her, but instead they elevated her.
The league is so mad that we won because we're literally not supposed to be here at all. And that just like kind of fuels our fire even more. But it was just like so fun. It was one of those games that, first of all, I was sweating my ass off because I was so nervous. And like, I don't really get anxious about stuff. I was so anxious. Like I could not sit still. I was legit. I felt like I played with how much I was sweating.
And then came her actual response. In true Sophie Cunningham fashion, she didn't rant, didn't whine, didn't post a long angry thread. Instead, she brushed it off with humor. A little jab, a little sarcasm, and that was it. That's her superpower. She doesn't let the league write her story. She controls her own narrative. And every time the league tries to make her the problem, she somehow flips it into a win. That's why her fan base only keeps growing.
And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
But this isn't just about Sophie. This is about a pattern that fans have been noticing for years. Caitlin Clark gets hacked to the floor game after game with no whistles. Lexi Hull's playoff heroics barely get coverage. And now Sophie gets treated like a threat by league staff. This isn't bad luck, it's a trend. The WNBA picks favorites and sidelines others. That kind of inconsistency doesn't just frustrate fans, it pushes them away. You can't demand loyalty while mistreating the very players who bring people through the door. At the center of all this is one unforgettable image. Sophie Cunningham, limping in a brace, standing for her team, and getting confronted like a criminal. That's the picture fans are going to remember. And it tells them everything they need to know about how the league views outspoken players who don't fit their mold. The backlash isn't going away, it's only growing. Every repost, every meme, every angry comment is fuel. And the more the league tries to downplay it, the more fans rally behind Sophie. So here's the bottom line. What should have been a moment of celebration for the Indiana Fever turned into yet another fiasco for the WNBA. Instead of talking about basketball, Fans are talking about security guards and double standards. Sophie Cunningham didn't create this mess, but she came out of it stronger than ever. And the league? Once again, they look like they can't get out of their own way. Do you think Sophie is being unfairly targeted? Drop your thoughts down below. Smash that like button if you're with Sophie, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of the stories the league would rather you ignore.